Hey folks, we've all been couch potatoes for an entire year. And how do we commemorate that? By making potato soup. Yes, this potato soup, or locro de papa, comes from the Andes, closer to the origin of the humble spud itself. A friend of mine learned this recipe from Ecuador and made this for me once. I think it was Halloween, my first ever Halloween in the US, and since then this has been my favorite. As usual, I have veganized it and I have put my own spin on it. And it is going to be definitely tasty, easy to make, and really simple to follow. So, what do we need to make this soup? Obviously, we're going to start with potatoes. These are 2 potatoes. You have to get the creamy kinds, the one that you would use for mashed potatoes, right? The russet ones. Peel them and then roughly chop them and then put them in cold water so that they don't brown. And then I have half a medium onion that is super finely chopped, and then 2 cloves of garlic that has been chopped fine as well, and then I'm using some ground cumin. And the actual recipe uses achiote or annatto, but I'm going to use Kashmiri chili powder because, you know, why not? I have it in my pantry and I'm going to use that. And it basically, the annatto gives it some color and some peppery flavor, which this guy here, the Kashmiri chili powder, can also do. So I'm not going to buy achiote. So whatever you have is whatever you have. And then I have 1/3 cup of non-dairy milk, and that is why I'm veganizing it. You could use milk, and then the actual recipe also has a bunch of cheese, and I'm going to avoid that because I don't think that the cheese is necessary. And I have 1 nice ripe avocado, which is firm to touch, as well as black on the outside. It's not mushy, so this is going to be great. And some cilantro. That's pretty much it. Apart from that, oil and salt that is given. So how do we make it? Okay, while I was recording my intro piece, I had put my black pot on the stove, medium-high heat, and let it heat for about a minute or so. And this black pot is so annoyed with me because I have a white kettle and it's electric. I'm going to add about a tablespoon of oil into this, and then I'm going to put both my onions and garlic at the same time. You want to hear that sound? I'm going to saute this until it starts turning brown. Okay, it's been about 2 minutes and the onions are starting to brown. This is when I'm going to add the cumin. I'm going to add about half a teaspoon of cumin. That's a quarter. And another quarter. And then I'm going to add 1/4 teaspoon of this Kashmiri red chili powder. Or you can add 1/4 teaspoon of annatto, whatever that you have. Or you can just leave it plain and have white soup. Nothing wrong with that. I'm going to cook this down for about another minute. But it's really important to cook the spices down for a minute. Otherwise it's going to smell bad and taste bad. But now it smells amazing. The spices have mixed with the hot oil and the onions and bloomed and released all their whatever aromatics that they have. This is the time I'm going to add all the potatoes in. I've drained them. Ooh, nice sound. I'm going to coat the potatoes in that onion, spice, garlic mixture. Everything nicely. Give it a mixy mix. The next step is to add some salt, not a lot of it. I would say about a teaspoon. And then give it a mixy mix. Smells wonderful. I wish I could transmit smell to you. Maybe in 50 years. Okay, I'm going to put a lid on top of it and then let it cook for 3 minutes. There goes the lid. Okay. Ooh. Those 3 minutes have been vital for the potatoes to soak up all the flavors in that oil with onions and garlic and all the other spices. So I'm going to give it a mixy mix, and it's starting to become tender, and I'm going to add about 2 cups of water into it. Right, usually I would ask you to add hot water and start cooking it right away and not reduce the temperature of the pan too much. But in this instance, because we want the potatoes to cook inside out, we're going to add room temperature water, reduce the heat of the pan, that is fine, and the potatoes have already started cooking in that oil. I'm going to put this lid on, bring this to a boil, and then simmer it until the potatoes are soft, which could take anywhere between 10 and 15 minutes. Alright, it's been about 12 minutes of simmering, and I'm just going to check to see if they're tender. I'm just going to crush the potato onto the side. Yep, it's able to be mashed, and we're ready. You could either take your aggression out by using a masher like me, or you could put it in a blender and then blend away. Alright, I think that's well mashed. I reduced the heat so that I won't hurt myself mashing this. 200 milliliters of non-dairy milk goes in. If you want more creaminess, add more of that milk, but I would advise against it because you still want to taste the potatoes. For me, this is good enough. And this is where in the normal recipe they put in white cheese and super melty cheeses and make it really cheesy and rich. But I think this itself is really creamy and nice. So I'm going to stop here. Let it just come to a slight little boil, and we're done. Okay, the soup is ready, and I'm going to pour it in my bowl. And that's one portion. I'm gonna set this aside, otherwise I'm gonna burn myself. Oops. And then I'm gonna put in some chopped cilantro. If you're one of those people who are predisposed to tasting this like soap, please avoid it, or use some parsley. Then I have some avocado slices, which is classic for the soup, and I'm going to take those slices, kind of fan it, and put it on top like that. That was not a good fan, but I know I'm a good fan of this soup. So there you have it, this wonderful warm bowl of locro de papa, and I'm going to go and eat all of this soup now. Eat that for later, but this for now because it's plated. I also love avocados, but if you don't like avocados, you could use peanuts or anything else on top. But anyway, make the soup and enjoy your day. Until next time, bye bye.